All right. I got everyone's attention. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Garrison Douglas. We would like to welcome our audience and our viewers from all over campus to this special live broadcast of the SGA Meet the Candidates event here at GGC. At the top of the event, we will begin with our Senate, Judicial, and Executive Board candidates as they tell you why they deserve your vote. And then we will finish off with the President and Vice Presidential debate.
So let's go ahead and move to our first candidates. We'll move with Sergio Ballesteros, Senator, candidate for the School of Business. Okay, here's our first candidate.
Hi, my name is Jessica Aiken, and I'm running as a senator representing the School of Education. And I believe an important thing for SGA and my role in SGA will be creating better communication on campus so students can come together and it feel more like a community. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Michelle Cabrera and I'm running for Senator for the School of Business. The main reason that I'm running is because I want to enhance the quality of the students' lives here at GGC and be able to provide student participation in the governance of the school. I want to help be the voice of the students. With such diversity in this school, there are many cultures and many different point of views. I want to be able to understand that, and with that, I would like for GGC to show its diversity through creativity. Slowly, GGC is having more art around the school, but we need more. There are too many blank walls and too many hearts and many different artistic views to fill them. I want to embrace how diversity is one of the best things about this school. Thank you.
My name is Casey Castillo, and I'll be representing the School of Business. The reason why I'm trying to run for SGA is because I would like to make GGC a little bit better in communication and bringing people out of their bubbles and everything like that. This year, I have lost 4 friends, and I feel like bringing more people out and bringing more people together and being able to make everybody, just fill the void and stuff like that would be a better for GGC. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Benjamin Coger. I am running to be a judge in SGA. I want to tell you all why, because from being a freshman here, I've been a civil servant, from being a freshman senator to being a chair of student affairs to going on to be Mr. GGC to advocating for the students any way possible. From the sleepless nights to all the studying I do to help make this place a better place. I want this place to be home. I don't just want this to be another school you go to just to learn. I want this to be a place you come to because you want to be here, to be around people you want to be around, and to make the difference you want to make. But I really do want to be your voice. So by doing so, I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to be heard. So I want to thank you all for giving me your time and your attention. My name is Benjamin Coger. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you all for coming out today. My name is William Dunn, and I'm running for Senator in the School of Liberal Arts. If you decide to elect me, I will advocate for issues that are personal to you. I know a lot of issues that are personal here on campus today are parking, food, and more healthy eating options here on campus. So if you do decide to elect me, I will make it my personal goal to go ahead and advocate for you and make sure you are part of the decision-making process here at GCC. So go ahead and cast your vote for William Dunn today for Senator. Thank you.
Hey everyone. My name is Mark Guevara. I'm running for Center for School of Science and Technology. This will be my second term running. And basically, I just want to run for re-election just because there's a lot of different projects that have been going on, especially in my committee, the Multicultural Student Services Committee. This semester, I'm proud to say we've implemented a meditation room that after the completion of C3, we'll have one available to all students for any faith. And then I'm interested in also bringing a debate for our campus. I've noticed that the closest thing we have to debate is the presidential debate we're having today. And so I want to bring some for any student who's interested in debate to come out and support. So those are a few projects just to, be transparent. And so I'm really excited and interesting for this new year, a lot of new projects coming up. And of course, I'm always happy to advocate for my students, not only for my school, but the whole student body. So thank you, Mark Guevara.
Yeah,
Morning, guys. My name is Syed Islam. I am running for the senator for School of Business. I'll begin off by saying that, as I first started as a freshman, I really didn't, I wasn't more of a commuter student. I just went from A to B, from school to home. But after being a senior and being here so long, I started realizing, all our affections, all these decisions that the school makes, it affects all of us. And to be offered the position of Senator for School of Business, I'm humbled that I actually have the ability to actually create change. Because before SGA, I could only voice my concerns. After being a candidate for senator, I actually have the ability to voice y'all's opinions and have the ability to actually, create change. Currently, I'm with Mark at the Multicultural Student Committee. Well, of course, he's, mentioned we run the meditation room. I'm also the treasurer for ISA. If I'm elected, I'm all about diversity. I just want to bring the campus together and bring all different cultures. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Adeline Kamal, and the position that I'm running for is Senate for the School of Health Sciences. And the reason why I'm running for SGA is because I'm passionate about SGA and all that it stands for. So in electing me, I'm gonna help voice your opinions and make GTC a better place to be in.
Hey GDC, how's everybody doing? Come on, we can do better than that. Is everybody excited? How's everybody doing? All right. My name is Erin Lucier, and I'm currently your SGA Senate Chairperson, and I'm seeking re-election. This year, SGA's charge was to be the shift, which was an embodiment of the idea that we can lead important change on campus, which is what we actually did. As a leader in SGA, I've made it my duty to empower and develop our Senate to become leaders in our GDC community. Throughout a series of leadership development events and one-on-one meetings with every single senator, we made this happen. This year's Senate has been arguably the most successful Senate in all of GDC SGA history. For the first time, we achieved a 100% full Senate, with every single seat and every single school filled. This was a major milestone for our organization, but it did not happen without hours and hours of hard work and extremely long days. I believe the measure of success of a student leader or any leader is whether or not they can successfully develop and empower the leaders that they work with. I stand before you and say both presidential tickets today are comprised of senators that I had the privilege of working with this past year through Senate and our many leadership developments and hard work. And they're all products of a successful leader in the Senate. In my humble opinion, I consider this a win. GDC, I ask that you elect me so we can have one more year of this great success with talented products of leadership. One more year of ongoing leadership training for students inside and outside of SGA, and an initiative called the Grizzly Leadership Academy. One more year of successful legislation being passed to benefit residential students, students with mental health illnesses, and students of every single faith and culture represented on this campus. One more year of some of the best initiatives this campus has ever seen. One more year of talented leaders using their skills to the best potential with guidance from someone who has done this before and who will gladly take the hill alongside them in any challenge they wish to take along the way. Thank you.
Well, I get to follow up behind that amazing speech by
Aaron Lucier. So my name is Akia Lyles. I have been in SGA for about a year now, and I've held pretty much every position that you can hold within the Student Government Association. I started out as a senator for the School of Health Sciences, then I transitioned to the chief of staff position, and I'm now currently on the Judicial Council. I really found my niche with the Judicial Council, and that's why I'm running for re-election to the Judicial Council of the Student Government Association. Yeah, so a lot of what I want to work on is constitutionally making it more sound for not just SGA, but the student body as well. So I currently sit on the Student Government Association Ad Hoc Constitutional Review Committee, and I'm doing a lot of great work with them, and I'm really excited to continue that work, and hopefully you will remember Akia Lyles and vote for me for a judge. And thank you for your time.
Hello everyone, I'm Manu Maha and my major is cell biology and biotechnology. I joined SGA last semester. I think that's one of the most professional organization at GGC. I really like it. And I'm running for senator for School of Health Science. So I hope you vote for me. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Eliman Mariner, and I'm running for Senate for School of Health and Science, and vote for me for change. Together we will.
Hello. Hello. How y'all doing? All right. So as some of you may know, my name is Mamadi Morena. I'm School of Liberal Arts, and I'm a junior. And I am running for the student body treasurer, SGA treasurer. And since I'm the only one running, let's just get this clear. I'm gonna be your treasurer. Yeah. Now that we got that out of the way, let's just continue. Let me just continue talking to you about why I'm standing right in front of you, even though I'm going to be the only one running. I want you guys to take this opportunity to know me a little bit better, because if you know me, you know that I'm super fun and I'm hilarious when it comes to making things. But this kind of overshadows my work ethic when it comes to some of the issues that I do, and most people don't really take me seriously because of that. And basically, I just want y'all to know that I take my work very seriously, and look at that guy saying no. I take my work very seriously, and as much as I like to make them fun. And me being the position of a treasurer came with a very big, immense wealth of experience that I can say. I've been doing this forever, and the last position that I held was an African Voice treasurer, and we did a great job in raising money for our organization to successfully run our biggest campaign, one of the biggest campus shows. So that being said, I am here being very positive right now, ready to do a lot for SGA, and I'm willing to learn what the position comes through. When it comes to the position, and vote for me, because if you don't vote for me, I have 0 votes, I don't think I'll be treasurer. So vote for me, okay? Thank you.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Well, I want to go ahead and take time and say that you are all very beautiful, and I hope that you are enjoying this wonderful, beautiful day. My name is Armando Montiel. I am an economics major, a sales executive at a small company named Simple Liquidation Solutions, and a 2-time power seller on 2 separate eBay accounts, and also a very experienced resident assistant at ResLife. I am running for a senator position for the School of Business,
And combined with my experience and my charisma, I feel that I will make a perfect fit for it. So go ahead and vote for me. That'll be all.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Casey Okebalama, and for starters, I'll be running for the position of Secretary for the Executive Board. A little bit about me, I wasn't actually born here. I was born in Nigeria, and I moved here when I was young. So the transition as I was growing up wasn't all too well, but over the time, I made friends and handled it well. So I know the meaning of a good relationship and what it is to build one and maintain it. The reason I'm running for secretary is because I would like to see, you see, on campus, the time periods that are allowed for RSOs, which are like African Voice, BSU, to communicate and get together with one another, is 2 hours in the week, one time on Tuesday and one time on Thursday. And I don't think that's enough time for people to get together and get to know one another in order to do something more, pretty much. So I would be pushing for there to be more times or more various times for there to be communication among the RSOs on campus. And my name is Casey Okebalama once again. I hope you vote for me for position of Secretary Executive Board. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Felicia Parton and I'm a biology major. I'll be running for senator for the School of Science and Technology. I currently hold a chiropractor assistant position for my job, and I have been a Sunday school teacher for 8 years. I want to run for the SGA to be more involved on campus and then to present a voice for the students. I hope you do your part and vote for Felicia Parton.
Put this down. Hello everyone, I'm Whitley Ramirez. I'm running for Senator of Science and Technology. I currently hold a position at Gwinnett Medical Center as a patient access. And why I'm running is because I want to be more involved in school and help others be involved, because when I started, I didn't really know anybody like who to reach out to and how to be more involved. So I want to be that person to help others. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joshua Sims. I'm running for Senate Chairperson. Many of you already know me. Let's go any higher. Sorry, I'm a little tall. But I'm running for your Senate Chairperson today because I want to show and lead people, and I want to make sure that we have a campus that's amicable to the sort of things you need, whether it's graduate school degree programs that you can get into a good school for, or if you need to have mental counseling for any sort of mental problems. I want to make it conducive to letting homosexuals be able to come out and be accepted in the community. I want to give people what they need in order to succeed. I don't want to just say that I'm a leader. I want to show you I'm a leader. I'm going to give you a little background on who I am and what I've done at GGC. When I was a freshman, I was enlisted by the board of directors here in order to help design a better architecture for the housing. I did a lot of that. A lot of it didn't get done, but I did get you guys in conduct chairs and also better housing policies for checking people in. Then I went on to become a senator for the School of Science and Technology, and in there I advocated for many of you by giving you, hopefully, better freedom of speech, better food options in the vending machines in the dining hall, boxes where you could actually take the food with you to housing on those long weekends when it wasn't open and you were living in the dorms and you didn't have food to eat. I want to make sure that we have better parking, or at least better transparency regarding how we're going to get that better parking. I want to advocate for you by showing you that through my skills, my leaderships, and my talents, that we can accomplish anything. And together, anything is possible. I want to be your Senate chair, not just to sit in a chair and tell people what to do, but because I think that in that position, I can truly help the most people and touch the most hearts and lives on this campus as I've done throughout the many years that I've attended this campus. So please, voting for me is not just a vote to get me, I don't know, into SGA. That doesn't mean anything. I'm here to help lead people and show people the way. So a vote for me is a vote for hopefully better success on this campus and a better way of living for all of us when we graduate. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raven Smith. I am currently running for SGA Senate for the School of Liberal Arts, and if elected, I have many ideas for things such as fashion shows, pageants, dining options, new clubs, residence halls, fundraisers, and even the oh-so-dreaded parking. I've previously been involved in SGA, so I'm familiar with the idea, and I believe that I have a good connection with the student body, so I will make sure that your voices are heard. I believe that greatness has to begin somewhere, and SGA will be my start. So have a great day and vote for Ray. Once again, my name is Raven Smith, and y'all have an amazing day.
Hello. So my name is Maria Tejada. I'm running for the position of senator for the School of Business. Right now, this is my second semester being a senator. And you might think, why does she want to come back? Well, these past years, I don't feel that we have done what we had to do. And this upcoming semesters, what I want to do is that I want to embrace our culture here at GTC. And I want to make sure that the students are getting what they want. For the School of Business, I want to make sure that we have the opportunities that we deserve. We need more networking events, more learning experiences, so that we can, when we graduate, we go back there to the real world and we know what to expect. Thank you, and vote for Maria Tejada.
All right, let's give another round of applause for all of our great candidates. All right, so the next event that we're going to go ahead and move to is the presidential and vice presidential debate. Let's go ahead and give a welcoming applause to our candidates. First, Senator Micah Siebel, who's running for president. All right. Pull that away. And our next candidate, running as his running mate, is Senator Nika Williams, who's running for vice president. In opposition, running for president as well, is Senator Tammy Liu. And her running mate, running for vice president, Senator Usama Lakhani. All right. Now the rules are simple. Candidates, you each have 1 minute for opening statements, 2 minutes to answer each one of our questions, and you have 30 seconds for rebuttals. We are now going to begin with Senator Micah Siebel with his opening statement.
Thank you. Sidewalk, but close. My name is Micah, for those of y'all who don't know, and this is my favorite thing to do whenever I get a chance to public speak. Everybody clap your hands! It always works a little bit. We always actually I love doing that. So one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is just where I've been at GGC overall. I started out as a commuter working 30 hours a week. I didn't want to stay at GGC. I became an RA. I became a student assistant to the game room. Y'all come down to the game room, come see me, play some video games. It's awesome, play pool, whatever. I became the president of 2 organizations. I've started an organization. I've helped write an original constitution. I was an inaugural vice president. I served in SGA this year as a committee chairman for housing policy, and I was a co-author with my committee of one of the only legislations that actually passed, the first one to pass unanimously in all of SGA. I think that I've been everywhere that any of y'all have been. I've experienced pretty much everything that anybody here could experience, having been both a commuter and a leader and someone who lives on campus. I think I've been there. So if you guys have any questions or anything you like, just hit me up. But I think there's a great future for GGC, and there's some things that we can really work towards. But the main thing I want is I want to build better leaders for a better future at GGC.
His running mate.
Hi, Hi, my name is Lillian. I am a freshman senator at SGA currently. I've never been in an organization for looking forward, but when I did SGA, I have grown to love it, and I just want to expand my horizons more. Yeah, so right now I'm running for vice president, and I'm really excited because I feel like I have a lot of ideas and a lot to offer the school, and that's it. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good. Enjoying the good weather now? Hi, my name is Tammy Liu. I'm a sophomore this year at GGC. This is my third semester at SGA. Last year, I was a freshman senator. This year, I am a senator for the School of Health Sciences and also a chair of the Multicultural Student Services Committee. That's a long name, right? And besides being a student, I've been around just as well. I've been a commuter student. Now I'm a resident assistant on campus. I'm working on campus as well as being an RSO leader of Asian Student Association. I feel like I have multiple perspectives of the campus life, and I feel that through my experiences, I have a wide range of perspectives, and I want to bring that into the plate since I'm running for president. Initially, I did not want this position. I was afraid, just like anyone else running for a higher position. And it took a lot of encouragement from other people to push me up to this point where I decided that I wanted to run. So I feel like although I'm running under my name and under my VP, it's not just for me. I'm running because the people out there believe in me and are encouraging me because they believe that the work that I do right now, I can potentially do more for the school. And I would really like to thank people out there, like so people like me, like Mark Rivera, or people outside the school that are not even in SGA. They see the work I do as resident assistant. They believe in me. And so due to their high amount of support and due to their high amount of support, I'm here today running for president, not just for me, but for them. So together we will do better for the school. Thank you so much.
And Senator Usama Lakhani.
Hello, everyone. I'm your senator for this year, Usama Lakhani. Just give you some feedback about myself, what I did for the last 2 years and part of SGA. I first got elected in 2014 as a senator of SGA from School of Liberal Arts. And that year, I tried to work with the people from Interfaith Meditation Room. We work on Greek life. We work on a bunch of other issues. But some of the issues we can accomplish it in the time, and some of us still be working on. So one of the meditation room concerns we had 2 years back, now you see we have a meditation room for this year. If you go in student involvement, you see that. And now we are hoping for next year when we have a accomplishment of C building, we have a permanent meditation room. One of the accomplishments I did, that was one of my initiative. I came up with that we need something here, like all the other schools have that. And meanwhile, last year I was working as an intern for State Capitol. I was working with the legislator for insurance committee, and I was the one and only student from GDC who got an internship at State Capitol, and I served one term over there. Now my goal to running for the SGA vice president to serve better to my community. As living in housing, I realized that students have a bunch of issues, and nobody can address better than a person living in the community and help them out. So now if you look around, we have 700 to 750 students live in housing, and there are a lot of people they commute. And they have needs like in online classes. The people live in housing. They don't have a food opportunity when we have a holiday, winter break, and spring break. So those kind of issues I'm concerning about the work this year when I get elected. So please vote for me for that. And thank you so much for your time and coming here.
All right, thank you, candidates. We move on to our first question for our presidential candidates. And the first question goes to Senator Tammy Liu. Senator Liu, what role do you believe the Student Government Association should play on campus?
Thank you for the support again. I think the role of student government should work as a bridge or a bridge between the administration and the students. I feel that SGA, although we're in this position organization to represent the students and act as voice students, we should communicate to the students and we should be working in between as well, because although we are students as well and it seems like an extra job, we should be communicating to the administration and the student problem. So we should be reaching out for students within our schools, within having same majors as us. So sorry, I'm going to have me slow down a bit.
Overall, SGA should be the voice of students. They should be addressing the issues of various fields, various students within various fields, and overall, we should be addressing their issues. We should be working towards a resolution. And sometimes there's only so much the administration can do. There's only so much that the students can do. And I feel that we should be able to compromise on some of the solutions that we do have on campus. So overall, a bridge of communication and working to solve the issues that we find on campus. Thank you.
Senator Simon.
Thank you. I think SGA should focus on building leaders for a better future. We are the chief advocates for the students. We're also the chief assistants of the students. At this point, there's a lot of students I know who want things, and they don't know how to go about doing them. They want things, they don't know who to ask. I talked with a student at the open house this past Saturday. She goes to Central High School, and she loves orchestra. And she said, there's no arts programs here at GTC. I don't know what to do. And I said, did you know that you can start your own organization? You can show up. You can be the president. Someone can be here to help you make that happen, and then you can buy music with money that the school has for your organization. She had no idea how to do that, obviously, because she's not a student yet. But there's thousands of students here who have no idea how to do anything like that. I want SGA to be incremental and helping students serve themselves and their own purposes, because there's so many resources at GTC people don't know how to use. So I'm proposing 2 changes inside of SGA. For the RSO Assistance Committee, we currently have an RSO committee, but I want our RSO committee to have the primary goal of literally sitting down with student leaders to help them put in a fence, to help them make money requests, to help them write a constitution, to help them register in organizations. Those are things that most of y'all have never thought of doing, don't know how to do, but need assistance doing. If there's something you want, SGA should be there as the chief advocate to be the people to help you do that. Right now, the people who are on staff here are excellent at responding to people, and they answer your questions, but they really don't have the ability to sit down next to you and help you click and help you plan your events and help you learn how to request money, that kind of thing. You actually need students like leaders in SGA. If we are really the leaders of this campus, then we should be the people who are sitting next to you, helping you, assisting you. That's what I see the primary role of SGA is.
Our next question goes again to the presidential candidates. We begin with Senator Seibel with this one. What is the biggest issue you would want SGA to be fighting under your administration?
Wow, the biggest issue. Honestly, I'm not going to start with what she thinks should be the biggest issue, because GCC is a growing school, okay? So I'm not even going to address what you say should be the biggest issue, because we've got so many things that are growing and developing. This is not a school that's been established for 100 years. We've got one issue that we need to undertake. This is GCC. We're developing, we're growing, we're starting new traditions, and we're fixing things along the way. So there's not one thing that needs to be fixed. I'll tell you one thing that I think ought to be fixed, and I'll just throw out one idea among many. And this is one of my favorite ideas. I'm talking with a friend of mine named Demetrice. She's 7 months pregnant, and she parks an I-lot on the gravel. And she walks up the hill, a quarter mile to the building, twice a week, 7 months pregnant. Now, who here knows that when you're 7 months pregnant, you don't want to park on the gravel lot and you don't want to walk a quarter mile uphill to the building? Yeah, I don't even want to do that normally, but especially not 7 months pregnant. I also, about an hour and a half ago, met a lady at Einstein Bagels, and I was getting my lunch, who literally said the exact same thing. So I want to make a pregnancy parking program. You get a unique special sticker with like the color orange or something, and then 5 parking spots in front of every building for those pregnant women for that 1 semester of unique parking. That's just one example of a variety of projects that as GGC grows, we can offer. It's not like we're overhauling a whole system. It's not the biggest thing, but there's a series of things we can do to make this school better gradually. And as we grow, it's not like we're pulling up the roots and changing something and making a massive change. It's that we're helping this school grow in a direction that we want to see it go.
Senator Liu.
Another great response, candidate Seibel. One of the biggest issues on campus, besides the various, because we are growing and we're relatively a new school, one of the issues that I feel like we should, out of the many, I also agree, that we should address is, since we have a large amount of commuter students, I believe that we should also provide online classes as well, and actually work with the students that are currently involved on campus. Since we are, majority of us are commuter students, and there's some that do go get on campus, get off. There's not a lot that are involved, but the ones that are here involved, we should work with them as well and reach out to them. As SGA, we should also be working with the registered student organizations on campus currently, because they're already reaching out. They're already doing more. They're doing excessive besides academic work. And besides reaching out to them, it makes you go, SGA should be involved a little bit more in going on to their events and encourage them, working with them and showing them how things work. I believe that we should also work on other things. We also have freedom of speech zone issues. We should also consider increased amount of GGC spirit. You know, if you go on other campuses, people are really excited and people come to the games, and that's one of the issues. We have great athletics, but we don't have a lot of turnout. We don't have enough GGC spirit, and I feel like we should work on that. Besides reaching out to students and community or athletics as a whole system, we should work to encourage students to be more involved, not just currently in their organizations, but outside as well. Although one organization is doing great, another one might not. A smaller one might be great. So I think we should collaborate, communicate, and help each other out, because we're here for each other. We're here to support one another and lift each other up. So overall, as an overall just as solving a problem, we lift each other up so we can address this issue, because we cannot address our issues properly if there's so much miscommunication going on. One person may say this, the other person may say that. Okay, you can complain. I hear a lot. We don't have parking, we don't have this, we don't have that. Okay, but where are you going to address those problems? Are you just going to complain about it, or are you going to do something about it? So it's easy to complain, but it's hard to actually do something. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And so overall, I want people to go out and try their best and solve the problem. Thank you so much.
Woo! Okay. Now, neither one of you have any experience serving on the exec board of the SGA. So what sort of experiences have you had in your own life or in SGA that you believe prepares you to be president? And we begin with Senator Simon.
Thank you. Just to back that a little bit, both of us have served periodically on the Executive Council. We get called once a month. As committee chairman, we do presentations to the Executive Board. The Executive Board, by the way, for the student body is open. They meet every Monday night, and you can go and hang out in there and give your ideas as a guest. You can show up, you just don't get voting rights, but you're not on the Executive Board, so you don't get voting rights. But we have some of that experience. I think the main thing that we're looking forward towards in terms of the Executive Board and having experience, it's like we've both got some experience in terms of like sitting in there. But I'd say that the problem with Executive Board overall, the problem that could present itself with the Executive Board is longevity. We need to come up with long-term solutions that solve problems that we have right now. So for example, like this year, President Goodwin has been excellent, but we made a housing policy committee, and I was the chair of that committee. And guess what? If we don't have a housing policy committee next year, you know what happens to the advocates for the students in SGA? Oh, okay. Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows. I don't know either. I don't think anything happens. So one of the things I want to do is I want to change that committee from being the housing policy committee that meets 1 hour a week for SGA to the RHA committee, the Resident Housing Association. For those of you who've been at other colleges, every housing association at major campuses, they have a student organization that advocates for what they want. Right now, if my committee ends next year, there will be no advocates for the residents' life. So I'm proposing that SGA take 1 year that they found the RHA Association. They do their weekly meetings instead of passing, SGA legislation. They pass RHA legislation, and they get that ball rolling. They build leaders inside of RHA, inside of housing. Students are going to be there next year, and that way, next year, SGA doesn't have to babysit housing to get them to gather improvements and money from the school. So when I see Executive Board, I'm thinking experience that gives you long-term vision. We've got to have vision more than next year, more than next month. We've got to come up with solutions that last past today. We're only 10 years old. We've got 100 more years to go. So, that's the type of solutions I'm coming up with. Thank you.
Senator Liu. Yes. What sort of experiences have you had in your life or in SGA specifically do you think prepares you to be president?
Hello again, everyone. Just a reminder, my name is Tammy Liu. Currently in SGA, I'm the Multicultural Student Services Committee Chair. I'll name again. And we work on the interfaith meditation room, and we also, although it's a temporary solution, we actually do reservations in the Student Involvement Center and try to preserve every day as much time as we can, designated to people coming in to pray and a designated time frame. I know it's limited at the time being, but I wanted to do something. So initially last semester, I tried to pick it up. It was a little bit too short notice, so we did it again. And I feel that through my experience with that, it gives me a bigger idea about what we can do to improve our school, because I was thinking small scale. I was like, okay, thinking long term, like, okay, we should do something in the long run. We tried to incorporate another building, but I want to do something now. Why do you have to wait 5 years or maybe a year or two for e-building to expand, or maybe to possibly get in the blueprints of this building, which has already been pre-planned? So I want to do something now. I went ahead and decided to do an event or event-based, a series of events, and had a temporary reserve space in a meditation room. I know everyone does not like the idea, but it's something that we're doing right now. And besides being in my committee, my experience in SGA, I'm also an active member in our ad hoc constitutional review committee. So basically, in a gist, that's implying that we're working on fixing the Constitution. And the Constitution hasn't been properly finalized and edited or reestablished within approximately 2 to 3 years. And so we need to update it. There's a lot of grammar issues on there, and also things that we need to change as well, because as we're going, of course, it's vague and due to our discretion how we interpret, but the Constitution should be edited as we go along. It hasn't been updated for a while, and one of the issues I find in the executive board specifically is there's been a lack of communication with the judicial branch. And as running as a candidate, I propose that we should have better communication. If they're reaching out, we should reach out as well. We can't blame each other here and there. It's a two-way street. If they reach out, you don't reach out, it's going to be you're in the problem, because then they're already doing their job, meeting you halfway. They're already doing their job, meeting you halfway. If you're not reaching halfway, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to try to push harder. And I feel like that communication should be fixed, definitely, because as part of the Student Government Association, although it's a different branch, we should be working together for the same problem, because we're representing the same students. And we do have an issue of tracking problems. My VP, Senator Usama Lakhani, he's been working on interfaith meditation for about a year or two prior, but I didn't know about his previous experience or working with it. And I feel that we should be also tracking what we're doing now and what we've done in the past, so we don't repeat the same things. So
I'm sorry, but that's time. Sorry.
Can I rebuttal?
Yes, you may. 30 seconds.
I just want to highlight real quick something. Tammy Lou has done an excellent job in making this in the forefront of conversation. She's done an excellent job spearheading this project. I'm the president of Faith-Based RSO. I'm in support of the Interfaith Meditation Room, but there's something a little bit short-sighted about the way things have been going in her committee. It has been sending out text reminders, but if anybody has signed up for them, because I've only received, I think, 2 text reminders. If she's not literally the person that does it and organizes it and sets it all up, then it's not going to happen that week. And that's a little bit of short-sightedness, I'd say, hitting back on the comments I made before, which is that you, as a leader, it's your job to give roles and jobs to other people who can take over and who can, have something for themselves. And so if you develop a new leader, that's something they can take over. But if Tammy gets overwhelmed like this week, obviously campaigning is a big job, and then she doesn't send out that notification, then obviously it's a good representation of someone who's coming up with a short-term solution that doesn't have a long-term vision.
Thank you.
Can I respond about that? Because I was one of the first one to initiative on meditation.
Yes. Okay, sure.
I have my flyer when I went 2 years back for the SGA senator, and I endorsed myself. If I become a senator, I will work in Interfaith Meditation Room. Right now, I'm a treasurer of Muslim Students Association, and I think every initiative, it took a while, 3 years to adjust. Now it's a very new initiative. We have a meditation room, and a lot of people don't know about that because we just started a few weeks back. I think we have to be patient, and I see if you look around me, when I came up with this idea, I have to wait for 2 years to accomplish something for you guys. And I was very patient on that, because so many times when you heard from the administration, it's not possible, not the right time to do. So I was very patient. I was being steadfast on my belief that we need this room like in other schools, and we got it that. So I think we should need more time. We need to look around and see that everybody are coming to the room and other things. Thanks.
In an interview with Grizzly News, President Goodwin said that he wasn't exactly pleased with the relationship between SGA and the Office of Student Affairs. He even went on to say that it was perhaps one of his most major concerns as president. Under your leadership, do you think you can improve that relationship? And if so, how? And that question goes to Senator Liu.
You said student affairs, but student involvement, the office that works in the student center is excellent. We have excellent relationships with them, and they help us with all our events and all our reservations. They're incredible. So student affairs, different branch, different direction than student involvement. Y'all rock over there. Thank you.
Yes, you may proceed. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought you
Yes, we're speaking of the Office of Student Involvement. I'm sorry, not the Office of Student Affairs. Okay, yeah, so we're speaking of the Office of Student Affairs, not the Office of Student Involvement. Office of Student Involvement, of course, is housed next to the RSO Lounge. That works very closely with the SGA. They do a very great job. So we're speaking specifically, though, of the Office of Student Affairs.
As an individual office, it's going to be difficult unless the students reach out to the office itself. And as representatives, we should go there and communicate with them. But also, there's only so much they can do. They do the paperwork side, but we have to be able to request and ask them with what specifically about what we want. Because although we want to innovate the presentation room, we have to do the research in advance. What are other schools doing? And we have to take other examples. Other examples of what other campuses are doing and provide evidence that it's going to be sufficient. Because we are new, we're trying to figure out how we're going to allocate money, and we should be able to, as running for president, I would like to be friendly, but also be passionate about what I'm aiming for specifically to the students and cooperate with them, because it's not going to be easy if I'm going to say I want this and if they're not willing to give it. I mean, we have to meet each other halfway and make a compromise. So if anything, I would want to work with the Office of Student Affairs and work on different ways so we can communicate, cooperate with each other.
Thank you. I'd like to just highlight some of the underlying issues that I think might be related to that. For example, President Chase Goodwin has stood up and gave a speech at SGA at the beginning of the year talking about the lack of diversity that's in upper administration and how that's a problem at this university. So obviously he doesn't have the kindest relationship with all staff members, including student involvement, because as student advocates, it's not our goal, it's not our primary job to make educators happy or to make people who work in this buildings happy. Obviously, we want to have good relationships with them, but we're pressing for things that students want. For example, you'll notice that this university, if they want to get a nursing program, they built a complete nursing program in like 2 years. You know what happened? Gwinnett County said we wanted nursing programs. And now here we have students at this school who say they want a music program, but no one from Gwinnett County and the government came up and said, well, we want a music program, GGC. So upper administration isn't making that happen. So we've got to pester student affairs to get things done that upper administration doesn't necessarily see as important. So we have to present, numbers. That's why you'll see people out here doing they'll sit here with a laptop and ask you to swipe your card to sign a petition for something. That's because we're working between ourselves and everyone else outside of SGA to try to convince them that the things that the students want are valid, and that we're actually going to use those resources when we get them. So my goal is not to have, a cheeky relationship with those people. If it's a little bit tense, then, that's fine. That means that I'm doing my job. I'm pushing against what their standards are for what the standards of the students are. So thank you.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I am all for representing students and aiming for whatever the students feel is a problem to work with the Office for Student Affairs. But the thing is, we also have to be considerate because they might be a little bit older and they might not have the same views and perspectives as our generation. So we have to be considerate of their position because they didn't get where they are now without working for it. And they might not have the same views as we. We might be a little bit more liberal. We might be a little bit more extreme, or maybe even conservative in certain issues, but that doesn't mean that we should push our agenda consecutively towards our generational views. We have to be willing to understand where they're coming from as well as we're coming from and make a compromise. I'm all for pushing for what the students want, but I'm also for being a little bit more understanding of where they're coming from, because they didn't grow up in our time period with Instagram and Facebook and being able to communicate readily, so it might be a little bit hard to push on what we want, but as long as we do it.
I'm sorry, that's time. Thank you.
Can I hear that real quick? 30 seconds about it?
Yes, you may.
Okay, those of you who live in housing, you may know, they opened an all-gender bathroom in there, so now basically if you've got any sort of sexual orientation that is, something that might make someone else, who has old school views feel uncomfortable around you, then you now have a safe place where you can go to the bathroom in public. And I don't think that that's something that, upper administration would have been thinking about or would have considered. It took us, and then it also took Res Life, who's got sort of their own entity, to push for that and get the first one on campus. But it's going to take us pushing against people who have older views and are more conservative and that kind of thing, who maybe wouldn't want a bathroom for people who, have a gender orientation that might be different than what theirs is. Just because they're scared about someone who thinks differently, lives their life in a different kind of way, doesn't mean that we shouldn't be consciously pushing for those people's rights. I don't think that an upper administration would put in an all-gender bathroom on their own if students were pressing them to it.
Thank you. And now this question goes to our vice presidential candidates. The question is, for as long as most students can remember, RSOs, institutional organizations, and the Grizzly Athletics program have been divided in some way, shape, or form. How do you plan on bridging the gap and begin the process of unifying student leaders and student athletes? And that question, we begin with Senator Nika Williams.
Well, it all starts with unity within SGA itself. So if we have unity within SGA, then we can go out with forming unity with other RSOs and athletics. As I feel like we should all set forth events. We should plan little things for everybody to come together, so we all know that we are working together and we are striving to, to broaden, like I said, horizons and to broaden relationships. And I feel like as we unify with each other, we can get so much further than if we just stick to each other and then we, he say, she say this. If we all come together and as a uniform community, then I feel like we can get way more done for the students and what they need. And that's how I feel.
Thank you. Senator Lagani?
I think if you look around right now, we have a great relation, but it should be improved in different ways. Now we have a SOFAP committee who can help us with RSOs. And when you're talking about the athletics and other events happen here, and we don't get to see the GTC spirit, as my president talked earlier about that, we need to create a GTC spirit. So if you look around 2 years, we did great in athletic. Tennis won the highest rank on our district, on our South region. So people have a potential, did a lot of great work. It's been hard to criticize one in how we can do. We are doing great. The new school, we are working together step by step. And every year you see a new changes, and you see, look on the administration part. The administration is very cooperative and they're giving us these kind of opportunity time to time. Right now we're being here sitting, talking to you guys. It's an opportunity given by the school. And we are very pleased to work together as a school, as a student, and work to build this community better and this school as well. Thanks.
I'm sorry, I was looking for the vice presidential candidate. I'm sorry. So now we move on to our next question, and we are joined by one of my other moderators, GNN political correspondent Christian Ruiz.
How you guys doing? All right, we're going to start off with a state question about the State General Assembly. As I'm sure you're aware, the Georgia General Assembly has passed HB 543 and is currently burning a hole in Governor Deal's desk. Georgia campuses across Georgia have been divided on this, have been protesting, and have set up things to stop it or for it. As president, will you support this legislation or not, sir, presidential candidate Tammy?
Hello again. I would have to say that I do not support the bill. I do not believe that we, as students, we should be able to carry them. I do believe in the Second Amendment, and you can have guns, but not on campus. I don't think that's safe, especially since we're an open campus. Students are going back and forth consecutively, and it won't be safe for the students. And although it's permitted within cars, it should not be permitted on students at all times.
Senator Sutton.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I spent 2.5 years working at Bullseye Gun Range in Lawrenceville. I do have my Georgia weapons carry license, and I do advocate for carrying on campus with limits, okay? So if they pass this bill, we're not allowed as the university to say, oh, that's wrong, we're not gonna let people do that. We can't break the law like that. So what we have to do is take the resources we have and funnel those students who are gonna come on this campus. I have an in-depth legislation that I've already written. I've already sent to be vetted by, actually President Gonzalez has already looked at it once, and I want to maybe make some minor edits to it. But essentially, I've got a 3-part program that students who want to carry on campus are going to have to do. If you're a short-term member of this campus, someone who comes on here, drives on, one day you're a visitor and you want to carry without a permit, we can't stop you. But if you're a long-term member of this community, I want to make it mandatory for anyone who stays here for more than 30 days consecutively to have a Georgia Gwinnett College carry permit. That requires them to go to psychological services, that requires them to go through situational training with the police force, and requires them to have pistol safety training with the police force, okay? Because the ultimate fear is that we have a student who stands up who doesn't know exactly what they're doing, and they might have an issue, okay? So if they pass this, we can't stop it, okay? We need to recognize that if that's the law of the land, we can't stop the law of the land, no matter what you want. Now, we can funnel the students, and we can do everything in our power to make sure that it is as safe as possible. Georgia, as some of you may not know, it doesn't require anything special to get your carry permit. All you have to do is pay $75 and go get thumbprint, and they send it to you in the mail. Do a background check, of course. Everyone passes the background check for that. But there's no additional training. There's nothing that's required. If we're at GGC and
Senator Seibel, that's time. Both of you are presidents of well-established RSO. You're well-known student leaders on campus. You are both committee chairs of SGA and both work on campus. Both of you have served around the same amount of time in the Senate. And to allude to something you said earlier, Senator Seibel, as someone who has served as a chair and a full-fledged member of the executive board, a once-a-month meeting is not experience on the executive board. So what then gives you experience to be president and not have your supporters vote for someone else? Senator Seibel?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't intend to use the word full-fledged. I did, but we do have experience on the executive board. We go into those meetings. We have understanding of what goes on. So you're asking what makes me qualified to be that?
Why should they vote for you and not the opponent?
Well, I'm going to return back to something I said earlier, which is long-term planning. I've got several things. I've got a list. I mean, more than 15 long of things, things we want to do inside of SGA to change how SGA interacts with students. Because quite frankly, like I said, students need assistance with things like RSOs. They need help and they need to be reached out to. SGA has done some of that successfully, but I actually want to change the directives of the committees to be something that is built around reaching out. I also want to change some of the things, of course, in the community, but it's long-term planning. It's having vision for problems that people are going to have more than just for next year. It's more than just solving the immediate problems in front of you. And I think I've shown through being president, of course, for organizations for 2 years and setting up leadership and training people under me and going through, like, for example, in my committee, I talked with Elizabeth Martinez, who is one of our members. I did everything I could to prepare her for a meeting and send her in to meet with the director of residence life on her own. Okay, so I gave her some questions, we talked, we conversed, we prepared, and I gave her all the tools I could as a leader to equip her to take the initiative on her own and become her own leader, to step in on a committee, to step in and speak with someone on a professional level. That's long-term planning, that's leadership development. That's what's gonna be here after I graduate. Nika here is a sophomore, right? Freshman senator, gonna be a sophomore, okay? So what we're talking about is Nika being developed as a leader now, learning how to do things now so that next year when people graduate, we don't lose our experience. We're talking about leaders 2 years, 3 years from now. I'm trying to put in place permanent development structures where we have people that are not gonna last just for this year, but people that are gonna last for 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years so that GGC doesn't, have a bad year and then, we just don't do very much for the student body.
Presidential candidate.
I feel that as a candidate for president, I would want you to vote for me, but also because I feel like I've done a lot with RSO communications, besides being in the SOFAC committee, which is giving money, a committee that approves money to being in organizations. One of the issues that I want to resolve is communication with RSOs. I personally went through this problem where documentation and representation have been improperly sent to me because I wasn't properly going to get involved. I didn't know they get deadlines. And a big issue I find within the RSO, within the GGC community that students are involved is the fact that when we change administration, you don't put it on get involved. Or when updates or deadlines are coming up, there's a lack of communication with administration. I'm sorry, advisor of the RSOs towards the executive board of committee. I feel that every year there's always going to be new people that are going to be president of this organization, and as you go on, I feel like maybe you should do a Gmail or something consecutive to keep consistent. And as for consistency in SGA, I feel that I started as multicultural student service committee. I had to reach out to different people that used to be in SGA that worked on the same issue before, and I would want to work on some sort of record keeping and say, like, hey, we went and talked to this administrator, we talked to this teacher about solving the problem. And administration have actually been working on it. They actually reached out to a Senate meeting and talked about having a session to talk about the differences between gender, sexuality, orientation as well. Because although there might be an age gap here and there, they've also reached out to us as well. they're willing to understand, and they reached out and tried to help, and they're working on making the session happen right now. So people that do feel uncomfortable or that are transitioning here and there, they are working on having gender neutral bathrooms, and I definitely advocate for people that just want to feel comfortable, because at this time and age, we're trying to just discover ourselves, and we definitely need a safe zone where everyone can come in, feel safe where they are, especially because this is a school. We should be able to feel safe within our school community as well as at home. And for some people, this is their home. So that's why we actually started the gender neutral bathrooms. Thanks to Dr.
That's
Boone.
time, Senator. Senator Seibel, this question is again for you. As you mentioned earlier, you are president of Forerunner Campus Ministries. It is presumed that your faith is a major part of your life and would play a major part of your professional life as well. While many Christians do support the LGBTQ movement and the things that they stand for, some President Goodwin's administration has been well done with showing that these policies have gone forth under his time. As president, would faith play a major part of your administration, and would you continue President Goodwin's legacy of LGBTQ inclusiveness on campus?
That's an excellent question. As someone who's always kind of an aspiring politician, as a Christian, you know, a lot of Christians will always sort of like fear that question, like, am I going to be the person who like gets judged for being like exclusive, or who doesn't love everybody? And quite frankly, you know, the idea that someone who's a Christian is not going to like be accepting and going to love everybody is pretty ridiculous. Okay, now I have, of course, I have traditional Christian beliefs. Okay, so you could say that like my faith in my private life is going to be different from the way that I represent my people. I understand that lots of people, you know, you might see Senator Ted Cruz who stands up and says, I'm going to stand for Christian rights, and then he's only going to have Christian voters, and then you're going to have everybody else alienated, okay? I believe that I'm going to represent the people who vote for me, okay? And I don't think that everybody on this campus is absolutely set on the idea that someone who's LGBTQ shouldn't have their own bathroom. I believe most people on this campus understand that if you need to use the bathroom, you need to have a safe place where you can go to the bathroom, okay? So I'm in support of that kind of thing, okay? So as a leader of a Christian RSO, I've got personal beliefs, and there are things that if you come ask me and you want to say, hey, Micah, like, so what do you think about this? Then you will have to literally ask me what my personal opinion is, separate from my professional opinion. I've never had anybody actually ask me that in person, because I'm not going to go out of my way to address people and tell them that I think that they're wrong, or tell them that I think the way they're living their life is wrong. That's not even relevant, okay? So while my personal life is important and while my faith is important, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to lead the people in the way they want to be led. Does that make sense?
I want to answer one line real quick.
Senator?
I think, I think we are not politicians here. So anything student needs, majority needs, I will vote for them. I will favor it for them, and I'm an advocate for the students. So any kind of issues they have for LGBT rights, for bathroom, or they need a space, they need more space for the people who are disability. We don't have anything in gym. We don't have anything in housing. So I'm advocate for the people. They need, students need, you know. I don't think any faith, any belief come to my job, you know, unless whatever student needs. Yeah, you know, I'm advocating with them.
Can I just want to hop on with that really quick. I think everybody at this table will agree with you that civil rights are important, okay? So if there's something that you need as a student, and you need to be served in a certain kind of way, there's absolutely no reason that anybody here who has a faith is going to stand in your way and say that the right to use the bathroom is something you're not going to have, okay? So if there's a civil right or there's an issue related to being LGBTQ or anything that you can possibly come up with, we're not going to, certainly my faith is not going to stand in the way of that. I'm going to assist you in any way I can. And I'm sure everybody at this table will. Let that not be a question or a doubt. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
All right. Now, the next question goes to Senator Connie. Senator Connie, as a senator this year, you have reached your limit of absences, putting you in the SGA Constitution to touch on impeachment. Can voters trust that if they elect you vice president, that you will have enough time and be present enough to effectively do your job?
Let me tell you, you have a wrong information. I only have so far 1 or 2 absences, and that's belong to another senator. So people are here. I didn't exceed my senator limit. Sorry. Just get back to your question. What I did for the Senate. I'm right now chairing the Constitutional Ad Hoc Committee for Senate, and last 3 years nobody worked on a constitution. So I had an opportunity to lead that Constitution Committee, and I have the most people in committee. Other 4 committees have like 4, 5, 6 people. I have 9 people on my committee, and we are trying to work on how to make this school better. So one of the main things we have to work on a constitution. Nobody touched it for the last 3 years. So I'm working on that. I'm very proud of people from the Senate. They are helping me out from outside of they are not SGA because of their commitment, but they're helping us out with that. So that's how I exceed my limit in doing the best for this year.
Thank you. Senator Williams, this goes to you. As Vice President, there will be times where you will be asked to step in for the President, potentially even for meetings with the school's administration. Now, not only are you a first-year SGA member, but you're also a first-year student here at GGC. Do you feel you have had enough time to build relationships across campus, particularly within the school's administration, so that you will be an effective Vice President?
Even though it's my first year here, I feel like I have had, we all have room for improvement, and we all have room for learning, and I have a lot to learn, and I have more improvement to do. But I do feel as if I will be a good sit-in replacement for my president, and I feel as if he is doing the right delegation and letting me know what I'm going into. I will be the proper effective. I will have effectiveness into sitting into his place, and I do feel like I can handle anything that anybody can throw at me. And I feel as if, even though I am a first-year student, I have been presented with many great opportunities as serving as a chair, as sitting as a replacement for Chair Lucier on another committee board. So I feel like as if I am perfect for anything that you can throw at me. I feel like I can handle it, and that's just my personality as a person.
Okay, we now bring in another moderator who is an editor from the Globe here at GGC, and that moderator is John Corbin.
Thanks for having me, guys. Okay, so this first question goes out to the presidential candidate.
SGA has significant funding. How can you guarantee that you are going to spend these funds responsibly if you are elected president?
Who's the last one?
Senator Williams, I think it's Senator Liu. It's on to you.
Hello, everyone. We have about approximately $40,000 allocated within the budget of the Student Government Association. If you want information regarding our budget, you can definitely find out about it. And as for using our money properly, some of the money is allocated for our committees, which are used for other outside events. For example, Nika Williams, she's also working with BSU for social justice events. So not all the money is definitely going to be invested within SGA. It's also going to be cooperative with working with other RSOs as well. And as for money allocation, we do have our candidate treasurer, Ringo right there, and he is going to be treasurer, and he is willing to put in the work where it needs to be. As for allocation of money, it's not just within, it's just going to be for materials for students, and any money that we use, for example, we use it for swag items, we give it out to students. Not all of it's going to be directly used within SGA for specifically us as well, because some of it is coming out to the students as well, and we have to take that into consideration. We are using it for different events, and we're also using it for food, and we try to utilize it the best we can. And at the end of the year, we use it towards the students as well. Thank you.
The question I want to make sure.
Yeah, SGA has access to significant funding. So if you're elected president, how can you ensure that you will use this funding responsibly?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways we can do that. One of the things you'll notice is if you look over, and our treasury report more or less is available to the student body. So if you guys are looking for that kind of information, you can email President Goodwin or anyone on the executive board. You can email Treasurer Nahas. And that, because we're a student organization, obviously you have access to that information. So there's lots of things that we do on campus. A lot of it is we spend money on internal leadership training, which I think is really important. But I think overall we do things like we've got funding for committees and such, where committees have access to a certain amount of dollars that they can give to different groups that they're representing, right? So as the Housing Policy Committee, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to offer some funding towards the bike rack that we got in front of 1,000 building. Those brand new, they just put that in. Part of the legislation we passed. Thank you. And so we can offer our money towards that. In this particular case, Action Auxiliary Services said they didn't really need our money, and they paid for it for themselves. So what we're looking for right now, in order to use that money more responsibly, the only thing we can really ask for to use it differently than the way we're using it is to have a better relationship with students and student organizations and advocate for students. If they come to us and say they want something, for example, I work in the game room, a student comes to me and says, you know what, this year the game room didn't get very many new games. Or this year the game room got one PS4, but they don't have an Xbox One, they don't have many new things. But we have over 800 students, individual students who have been in the game room this year, just since January. And if those students want more variety and they don't have the budget for it, then they can come to SGA and say, hey, SGA, can you assist us? Can you give us some funding towards this? And we have extra funding set aside for committees and different things and for events that if student organizations want to come to us, then they can request those funding. The main thing that I've been advocating that you may have realized is outreach between RSOs. If we have a relationship with RSOs and we have relationships with students who want things, they can come to us and ask for it. Right now, we don't have that kind of relationship, and we're not getting those kinds of requests.
30-second rebuttal.
As for uses of money, one of the things that I've been noticing is like microwave issues. We were working on the first semester that I was a senator in SGA, and I've noticed that we do have bathroom measures. Somebody wrote a note on the microwave saying it's not clean, it's not usable, and you can definitely go up, and that's exactly what I did. I went up to VP Gonzalez and told him we have the microwaves not working in this building or the building behind, and we actually went out and purchased the microwaves. There's some students that are willing to pay and willing to leave that note. They just don't know who they should or how they should address it. And also another thing is I worked on my first semester of SGA is trying to incorporate the filtered water fountains in the gym, but they're already working on it as well.
That is time.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Part two, that same question. RSOs are only allowed to spend money on items like T-shirts, food, and other things if their events are open to all students. Should the same restriction apply to SGA? And it goes to Seal.
At this point, there's only really like 2 events we have all year that are not open to all students, okay? We've got our retreats. If you join SGA, you get to go on the retreat, and there are things like you get some free T-shirts when you go on the retreat, but you also spend 2 days going through all the training to know how to do pretty much everything related to SGA. We also have like beginning of the semester trainings, we have end of the year trainings, that kind of thing, where those are the only events we're going to do all year that are exclusive. If you can come to Senate, you can sit in on Senate. You can come to committee meetings. We encourage you. Come to committee meetings. Tell us what you think. Everything else we do is absolutely 100% open and available to the student body. Even, like I said earlier, the executive board, you can come and sit in with the president and be a guest. You might have to wait your turn to speak 45 minutes after everybody else gives their reports, but you can come in and you can sit down and you can be a part of any meeting you want. Everything we do at SGA, other than the leadership training and like the weekend events and things like that, is open to all the student body. So I think the question might be a little bit misguided and misunderstood. In that case, you guys should run for SGA. We do still have a couple openings. So.
Yeah, other RSOs are only allowed to spend funding on food, T-shirts, and other such items for events if those events are open to the entire public. So should that same restriction apply to SGA?
As stated earlier, there are, for example, the SGA retreat that is not the uses of money is within SGA, but I think that although it's given to the students, we should try to expand it. And instead of doing this retreat where it's exclusively SGA, it would be a good idea to expand it. Because if we're doing leadership concepts, we should also spread it out to the students. Yes, it might be more in depth on Senate, but it's also supposed to be slightly incorporated in RSOs itself. Some of the leadership skills, communication skills, should also be incorporated in the RSO's leaders as well. So we did also had an RSO leadership summit, and that should basically incorporate. And that's one of the events I think that we should try to incorporate as well.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
I'm one of the person who is the most senior in this panel. I spent this my third year being starting in SGA. So I think we have a lot of money and we can enhance this. As you asked earlier about this question funding part, yeah, I think every student have to get access on this money, and whatever we do for the school, not for ourselves as an SGA member or SGA body. And first we are the students. So I think we should enhance this thing. We can encourage more students to be a part of this organization. Now we see most of the people are being running for SGA that are the same faces. Last year we seen this kind of diversity change, and I'm so happy that we are seeing more this year. So I'm with that, we can.
That is time.
Can I rebuttal?
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Okay, really quick. Who here, please raise your hand, who here would like to go on like a 3-hour bus ride and then stay in a nice hotel, go kayaking, get some free food, and hang out for the afternoon, get lots of free t-shirts and have fun? Who's down for that? I think a lot of people should be down for that, okay? So if we just do what you said, just open that up there, buddy, we would have more students than we could even consider paying for. What we're talking about is we have limited leadership opportunities for people who join SGA. If you want to join SGA and you didn't run, come and see the president and get a director position because we can appoint people, okay? If you really want to be in SGA, then you can enjoy all the benefits of SGA. If you're not in SGA, then you're not going to get all the monies. But we do have free t-shirts. We give away free t-shirts, free classes, free pens. We're good with our money.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is the next question is with the president starting in the senior season. The recent incident A building has brought up a lot of concerns for students. Now, as SGA president, both of you will be representing the student body. And as students, we really don't get filled in that much outside of a rave alert and a follow-up email from the president. So as SGA president, what would you do to reach out to the student body here in light of similar events?
That's a really interesting question. What you're talking about is a flow of information that is sensitive and could potentially cause issues and panic wider than the ones that we're having. So, for example, we didn't get enough information when there was the shooter on campus. You guys know, like 4 months ago, where they shut down campus, got crazy. There was a guy who had a domestic dispute with somebody nearby and was seen running in this direction and ended up being like 3 miles away off Old Norcross. That was not enough information given to the students. But honestly, what that needs to be is that just needs to be a conversation between there's nothing that I can do as president to force upper administration to give out more information. But it is the goal of the president. And I actually did talk with Chase Goodwin that day as president because I texted him and said, hey, Chase, what's going on? What's going on? He goes, hey, the campus is shut down. And that's all he gave me. And I think controlling that type of flow of information is most of the time is going to be to the benefit of the students. Now, if there's something that we think the discretion is wrong on, then if I'm president, then I'll call President Saj and say, hey, President Saj, what's going on? Can you give me some details, okay? What can we share with the students that they actually need to know? All we know is the bathroom blew up and somebody got hurt and they made it to the hospital. Does anybody need to know more than that? Does anybody want to know more than that? Anyone want to go smell that? Oh, one person wants to know more about that situation than they need to know. It's on a need-to-know basis. I'm not sure we really have to give up more information than that. It's sensitive to the institution. It could make GGC look bad. And, we, as president, obviously, I'll ask the questions that need to be asked, like the incidents that happened 4 months ago, where there wasn't it wasn't like a death threat to students directed at students. And we need to control that kind of information, but it's not like we need to give long paragraphs from the institution telling everybody, every little thing that goes wrong. I think that would just be a poor decision on poor management.
As an SGA president candidate, I would suggest that SGA should be a bridge as a student leader on campus. And with that type of sensitive information, yes, there's only so much we can expose and so much they can give us. But as a worried student seeing a bomb squad or state patrol, I want to know what's going on. And there's only so much that I do need to know, but I would like to be a little bit more informed about what's going on. Yes, the person's personal information should not be exposed out to anyone, but at least sometimes we should at least be updated about how the person's doing. The person got hurt in building A, but at least we should be getting notifications at least that they're doing well, because they are a GGC student, they are part of our family and our faculty as well.
That was not a student. That was a work with them. According to the update they gave us, it wasn't a student.
She was talking about general stuff, like a student or any member.
Were you done? Any other VPs like to add anything? 30 seconds.
I think this is one of the serious concerns I've been experiencing on and off in this campus. And I think organizations are doing a great job. We have to be a little bit more active in social media. That's why our role comes as a SGA. We can be a bridge between the student and the campus. And we can educate on our website, our social media and platforms, so people get more aware of that. And as we seen yesterday, there were like incidents, but people know it very well, and people understand what's going on, and people were like, okay, now school is getting better if you compare to the last incident that happened very close to the campus. So I think we are doing a great job, and
that is time. Williams, anything?
I just think that we disclose enough information as if we don't need to
pull out anything else. As long as we know the bathroom blew up, she made it to the hospital and she's fine. That's all we need to know. Because I mean, it could be harmful to put out any more information as is. I mean, let's just keep them guessing. Basically, if you know the basis then or the essentials, then that's all that you need to know based on that topic.
Okay. Well, once again, to the presidential candidates, starting with Tammy Lou. As SGA president, will you work to better incorporate the Judicial Council into mainstream SGA affairs?
As part of the Ad Hoc Constitutional Committee, we actually do have a judge and other members outside of SGA working on the Constitution. And one of the main miscommunications we have with the judicial is that they believe that we should be reaching out to them a little bit more because they're doing their halfway work. At the beginning, they have so much work at specifically the Constitution with all these grammar issues and other things we work on. And as Senate, we need to incorporate our little more communication towards them about what we want to incorporate. And with this ad hoc constitutional committee, things that we're looking to amend or work on is the attendance policy that should be slightly edited, and also the meeting times, because although it says meet me at this time and date at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays with our advisor, not every student or not every judge every single year is going to be able to make that time slot. What if they have to have work at that time slot? So one of the things we're working on is fixing the amendment of the Constitution. And I feel that the Constitutional Committee should also be amended within my administration next year as well if I get elected, because it's something that consecutively needs to be worked on because it hasn't been updated in 2 to 3 years. And so not just adjusting to keeping it up to date and keeping it and then as we go, I would definitely want to keep this relation with the judicial a little bit better and communicate with them better and incorporate them a little bit more in the Senate, because we haven't seen as much updates. And we do have to meet that 50-way mark. They have to reach out and we have to meet them halfway as well. And we are working on, there is a position currently called judicial chairperson, and I plan on working with that person in the upcoming Senate as well.
So right now, the goal of the judicial branch of SGA is more or less to solve conflicts between RSOs. Now, for those of you who are in RSOs, you know there's not really usually conflicts between RSOs. So they're running around a little bit purposeless. They're a little bit designed after our current style of government. And so basically what we've got to do is we've got to find a job for them to do that gives them something that is valuable. Because at this point, we had 3 months where they didn't meet and they didn't do anything. So I've looked into it and I've thought about it a couple times. One of the things I've thought about, for example, is they could be advocates for an RSO that needs assistance with something. So if there's something technical like writing a constitution, there's no one that should know the rules better than a judge. So overall, it's like there's not anything written in right now for the way that those people need to be incorporated. So I'm not sure that there's a lot that really needs to be changed about that, because they don't have a purpose really right now, because RSOs aren't fighting. If an RSO fights, then they'll have a purpose. But I mean, to come up with more things for more people to do just because we feel like people, need more to do, need to be better incorporated, like that's just creating extra work for people that they don't need to have. If we see a problem and we see something that needs to be done, then we'll be happy to give that work out to a group that needs work to do. But it's the way that you phrased the question just made it seem as if we need to give more work to them because they're not doing enough work. And that's not smart. You don't want to use your people like that. You don't want to give them jobs just to keep them busy. We know we're students. We do busy work, homework all the time. Nobody wants that. More work just for the sake of better incorporation is not the goal. If you get a good idea, let me know. We'll be sure to use it. But until we get a good idea, we're not going to just throw things out there.
I believe there was a rebuttal. 30 seconds.
Actually, every RSO has their own separate constitution, so the judge is not going to remember like the hundreds of RSO constitutions out there because they're all varied, and the constitution that they do work and amend and besides the RSO conflicts, if they resolve or come up, is actually the Constitution trying to work with the senators on editing the Constitution, as in the Student Government Association Constitution, not RSO Constitution, because RSO have their own Constitution. It'll be really hard to memorize all of them because they all vary and it's not going to be consistent. And if anything, they should work more with the Senate on legislation because it's working on towards the Constitution they're working on is more specifically with the SGA.
That is time.
I don't think that they have to be only for SGA. They're serving the students, okay? So if we have someone with an RSO, like this year, my RSO didn't have a due date for elections, and so I had to edit the Constitution. Now, I don't know why the office should have to be the only people who can do that kind of thing and the only people who can help. I think that judicial board, they should understand the outline. There's a really clear, very obvious outline that you should be familiar with. If you've been an RSO or if you're an SGA, you need to be knowledgeable about things like the non-discrimination clause. All of those things are very rote. There are some unique things inside of those constitutions, but you made it sound as if every single one is so different. They're 90% the same, other than individual goals. You have the list of 5 goals. Everything else is similar.
Okay. Thank you. All right, on to our next question. As SGA president or SGA vice president, how will you stay ahead of events going on campus? And how will you help to inform the student body? And this is to Senator Siebel.
I mean, the first thing that I really think needs to happen is that we need to get more areas of just like posting, whether those are digital signage or whether those are physical signage. Those of you who walk around, you don't really see many advertisements, or if you do, they're placed in places that are illegal, and then the school will go and rip them down. That kind of thing. I think more posting areas is really the first thing that needs to happen. We're trying to be a paper-free school and school of the future and all these kinds of things, but eventually those initiatives get in the way of communication with students. And the second thing is really having good communications with RSOs. Like I've been saying, RSO development, having relationships with RSOs, those people who are in student organizations are the most involved on campus. They're going to pay the most attention. Those are the people who are actually likely to come out. If someone's here as a commuter and they're set on coming to school and going home, they're not going to stop at your event. Okay, so advertising to those people is not the most beneficial thing there is. We need to have the best relationship we can with the students who are active on campus, because those are the people who are going to be involved. And we want to try to draw those people in as best we can, obviously, but our goal, if we really want to stay ahead of the curve and we want to get people more involved, then we need to have active relationships with students that are already involved, and then doing our best to outreach and then do events in public places with loud music that people always show up for that. So, but that's not ahead of the curve. That's the day I've just got a good benefit for that. But we will teach you how to do that in the Leadership Development Committee in my administration.
Yeah, it's right.
As of right now, I do not believe that we should put more bulletin boards out there. As the purpose of tomorrow, we should actually be trying to use more of our online resources. We actually have an online app to keep you up to date on some of the events that are going on. And if anything, we do need more collaborations, because if you collab, let's say BSU with African Voice, within those two organizations, they're going to communicate more verbally. So by having more collaborations, the word's going to be out there more. And we do have a lack of GGC here on campus. But there's also due to the fact that we have commuter students that don't always want to stay on campus.
Can I rebuttal that?
I think
you had a rebuttal?
I think I will go only one word. We just need a GGC spirit. We can say, are you guys here with me? Are you? Yeah. Together we will. Together we will. Yeah, that's the spirit we need for GGC, and I think that's all we can do it, and we will see the people are being having more turnout for the school, for the events and everything.
So I just want to address sustainability, and I also want to address usefulness. If we have an online app, I'm not sure, I don't know anyone who has that app. We have calendars. Oh, we got one person. We've got calendars on the GGC website. If you go on the front of the GGC page, there's a calendar up there. And a lot of times you'll go through and you'll see the calendars, and they'll be for events that were 2 years ago. Literally every time I go there and get involved, there's an event that says, you know, get free condoms 2013. And that kind of stuff that's on there. So we're talking about sustainable and useful things that people are actually going to want. Okay, so we don't need to say, oh, well, let's be the campus of tomorrow, and just for the sake of saying campus of tomorrow, use an app. Let's actually get things that people want and are going to use.
Did Vice President Williams have anything to add? Good. All right. As a follow-up to that question, as a reporter for the Globe, we often have trouble getting access to information and events. So if elected president or vice president, do any of you foresee there being a better relationship between the press and SGA? And this starts with Senator Liu.
As for the press and the Globe, I actually came to about one of your meetings to actually address one of the issues that I found that should be discussed. And of course, awareness on events on campus, we do. Individually, we can inform about what's happening on social media, but I think it's also in charge of this.
I totally agree with you. We have a big communication gap between inside SGA and Senate and executive, and same thing if follow up with the executive and different organizations. So when we get elected, one of the main thing I have a concern, you know, we'll narrow the bridge between communication. So we can communicate very well. So that kind of information, one of the Globe, we have one of the big organization here who are running the newspaper for the SGA, so they can get a better information and can educate more people in this community and school. Thanks.
Yeah, as a member of the student press, we often have trouble having access to information about events and so forth. So if elected SGA president or vice president, do you foresee there being a better relationship between the press and your organization?
I feel like having a better relationship with the press as of the Globe and SGA, I feel like that should be a strong shoot that we should have. I feel that we could make that somebody's job to where if we do have an event or we do have something going on, we can say, hey, can you contact the Globe and let them know that this is going on. We can also send out emails. You can also sit in on meetings. We can sit in on your meetings. We can get feedback on how if you're having a meeting, you can say, hey, SGA is having this and such going on this time of day, and you can put that in, your newspaper. So I feel like that's how we can form a better communication with you guys.
Also, we do have the director positions. If there's something that you would want, or any organization or any student wants them, then they can come to SGA. If you want me to find somebody whose primary goal is to help communicate with you guys and get you informed, then we can make a director of, like between the two news agencies, the director of news agencies, whose primary job is to, communicate upcoming things that SGA knows about and tell you guys about plans that are kind of coming up, maybe things that are not public news yet. We can help you with that kind of stuff. It's more about being in the situation where you ask and you have access. If we have that kind of relationship, like I said, RSO relationships, and then also the public postings, it's hard to be up on events that people don't post things or don't have areas to post them. So part of if we train people in RSOs and if SGA gets involved with that, there's going to be better advertising. They're going to post more signs. You're going to be more informed. And also, we're going to be able to develop better relationships in the future.
Can I add one more?
30 seconds.
I think we are missing an SGA organizational structure. So when we have those kind of structure in the organization, it's easy to communicate with any office, any other organization. So once I got elected as a custodian of the Senate and VP, I will condense this bridge. I should be my people, my senators have a strong organizational skills so they can communicate very well with every aspect in school.
Excuse me, I need to rebuttal. That's entirely wrong. The vice president and the Senate is an internal community, they're not an external community. Their primary goal is not to deal with things outside of SGA, they're dealing with internal things. So that's why I recommended directors, because those are something in the executive branch. It would be actually Tammy's responsibility, but the idea of giving senators the goal to reach outside of SGA is it's totally illogical. It's against the Constitution. So, I mean, if you want to change the Constitution and make it that way, then I encourage you to stand on that platform. But that's not the way that it is right now. So I was a little misguided.
I think
Sorry. Although
30 seconds.
Okay. Although it doesn't cost you to do this and that, if he was elected VP, I'm very confident that he will do more and beyond. Just because it says you have to do this and that, you don't have to do the bare minimum. You could do more than that. For example, our executive secretary, Esmeralda, she's doing more than her job. And if anything, although she's doing the minimum, she's actually going beyond helping our VP as well. So although it's restricted to external and internal, you can do both as well, as long as you keep up with your minimum tasks. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but I have to break back in on this, because if you have a senator who breaks the rules and talks to somebody outside of SGA and does something unprofessional, like email the judicial board and tell them you're going to assist them and then leave them on the hang for 4 months, like Senator Connie did, then what you're going to do is you're going to have a position where SGA in the Senate looks unprofessional. So the goal of SGA is to work inside of SGA. We need to understand our structure. Our structure is excellent. We do a great job. What we need is more directors, people who can assist with that outside. But the idea of making senators have the primary job of reaching out, that's an easy way to make somebody do something that looks unprofessional or cause a problem. So that's what leadership development is for.
Thank you. Can I rebuttal? 30 seconds.
One more, 30 seconds.
I think the student leader, we are senators and we elected by the students, so we can take our initiative and we can talk to anyone. And to your question, what I did for 4 months, I think as my job, I know what I'm doing. That's why President have a faith on me and he giving me the constitutional committee. So I think I did my great job. That's why I have that one of the biggest committee in SGA right now.
Thank you all. All right, so we're now going to move to closing statements. We'll begin with Senator Tembilu.
Hey guys, thank you guys so much for staying here and listening to our debate, and also the candidates as well. I hope you do come out and vote Wednesday, and starts tonight at midnight. You really want to go out there and vote, and if you will, please vote together. Together we will is our motto, because together we will and together we can. Although I'm running as president, I'm working with other candidates that are running for positions, because I feel that we should definitely have this union in the SGA currently. So I'm with other candidates, not just helping myself, but helping others as well. So don't forget to vote. Shout out to Mama D. Love you. Thank you so much.
Senator Lacani.
I think there's our slogan, together we will, we can. So I will encourage everyone, be stand with us together as SGA, vote for us, come out, make your voice, do best you can. We're having elections starting tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and Friday. So we are also having an event on tomorrow, so come check it out on housing. And we are doing a great job so far. This organization is growing every day, and we can do much better for next year. Thank you.
Senator Seibel.
Thank you. I would encourage everyone here who's considering voting to do something more than people voting with their shirts, because all I've heard them talk about is together they will do something, but they haven't really told us what yet. I've given you specifics on several different committees to talk about, parking, pregnant parking. I've got a list of things that I know I'm going to do, and I've got long-term vision for that. So when we're talking about voting, we're talking about the good of SGA, we're talking about the good of the student body for a long-term vision. And I really, I've got a lot of things that I think really need to be done in this campus, but what we don't want to have is someone who stands up and gets things done for 1 year, and then, I'm sure Tammy Lou would do a fine job for 1 year, but then maybe there's no sustainability for the things that would happen after that. So I want you guys to really consider long-term vision, long-term solution, and building leaders for a better future. If we don't have leaders to rise up after us that know what they're doing, then we're always going to end up in a lurch, like those of you who have been part of student organizations where a president leads the organization, and then everyone kind of goes, what was the president doing? I don't really know how to do that. I don't really know how to solve that problem. I don't know. Someone has to win. Someone has to win all on the fly. You can't. I don't want leadership development. I hope you guys can really support that idea and be in line with quality and with substance.
Senator Williams.
As of what my running mate Sable said, I am looking forward to building a better future for better leaders and for long-term leaders and for leaders building more leaders. I want everybody that attends this school to see the vision of this school. We are a growing school. We are the school of the future. And I feel as if we were to get elected, we can make you guys understand the vision. And so you guys can really see how great this campus university really is. I want us to have more unity. I want us to be more of a family. I want us to have more spirit. And with that, I feel like this school can go for forever, and we can surpass many universities and many other colleges, even though we are just starting out as a school. So thank you.
All right. Well, that does it here at the Meet the Campus event. Thank you all for coming out. I want to thank our moderators and everybody. Don't forget to vote in this year's election, March 23rd to March 25th. We have T-shirts, t-shirts, presented for call cards. Thank you, everybody.
Go ahead and stop the broadcast.
Yeah.